Hmm.
Hey everyone, how y'all doing? I just wanted to tap in and say welcome to the last episode of the month of January for 2026. This episode is going to be a little different today. I'm coming from a very calm, collected, reflective, and just grounded energy. And I'm going to be honest. January has been pretty heavy. However, I've been present and I've been regulating with truths every day since this year has started. I want to say that January, so much showed up, from grief to ego death to mere honesty to myself and my fears. And it's been teaching me a lot about how much I live in fight or flight mode, aka survival mode. And there's a lot of work that needs to be done. And it's like, not that I need to be fixed or that I'm never going to be healed or I need to be better. However, those things have brought awareness to me. And no one ever talks about how much being aware is, how much it costs you. Sometimes it costs you your sanity, right? Sometimes it causes you to question not just everything and everybody, but yourself. And January thus far has really, really, really been holding up a mirror for me. Winter season is typically the hardest season for me, especially being in a state where seasons change. Last time I talked all about how being in Charlotte is so much different from being in San Diego, weather-wise, right? However, having these seasons and evolving with them allows you to really dive deep and be present. You can't just be on autopilot. And I feel that a lot of the times in this winter season, I get down, I get reflective, I hibernate, I want to isolate, I want to disappear. And a lot of that used to come from just fear, just like I don't want to be around anybody right now. I don't, you know, I don't want to be in social settings. Like it's more protective mode. And but now I'm looking at it and reframing it and noticing that it's more so recharging, refocusing, reflecting, and just understanding what I need in this moment. This past year, 2025, was a lot. It was a lot. And I'm feeling that weight and learning what I need to do to release it. A lot of that is being aware of how it shows up in my body. And January showed me that that stuff is heavy. It weighs on me. It weighs on my shoulders. It weighs on my chest, and my head is, my crown is just so flooded with just so many thoughts, and I need to get back into my body. So one thing I did realize was that I need to start dancing again, right? Dancing, I would say, plays a huge part in my well-being. And not even just dancing, but movement in general, walking, yoga, stretching, just jumping up and down, like anything, right? um, those are what help me kind of be present and tap back in myself. And when I don't have that, I don't realize that I'm on autopilot. Um, or I'm in survival mode. And a lot of the times I feel like when I'm in autopilot or survival mode, I notice that I'm in my head a lot. I have all these thoughts. I have all these like fears and these what ifs, and I start to catastrophize. And fight or flight for me in real time is more so me being anxious, right? And me being doubtful or irritable and questioning everything and everyone. Like it becomes overwhelming and it becomes a lot. And then that's where I have to learn how to emotionally regulate myself. And that starts with me being in my body, which means I have to cater to my body more. I have to eat better things to feel more energized. I have to dance to release whatever stagnant energy is in my body, like move it, shift it away. And even if it's just light stretching, or if there's music on, let me dance for 5 minutes. But moving my body is what really helps me. And January so far has been a slow start. It has definitely been a slow start because, again, I started with grief, right? Grief of, my brother's birthday was December 29th. My grandma passed December 7th. Both of their favorite holidays was Christmas, and then me and my brother celebrated New Year's Eve together every year in relation to his birthday, right? And then my grandma's birthday was January 25th. And there's a lot of grief in the winter time for me, winter and summer. There's a lot of grief. And those are like the peak in my mind. Those are like the peak times of the year. And it's interesting, right? It's interesting what grief and loss can feel like in real time. And in real time, my nervous system is shot. My nervous system is like crying for help, but like sometimes I've realized that when I'm in fight or flight or survival mode or just autopilot in general, I get stagnant. I get very stagnant. I want to sleep all the time. I start to feel depressed. I'm not saying I am a depressed person, but I start to feel depressed. I start to feel very sluggish and very unmotivated and doubtful. So with that slow start and the first couple of weeks of January, I realized like, okay, I can't keep feeling like this and understanding that I'm feeling like this and not doing anything about it. So I'm very grateful to have people in my life who are very much like, hey, Mila, what's up? What's going on? Like, what do you need? And who are also probably feeling the same thing. And I'm not the type to go and reach and ask for help. And when those people do come into my life and they do push me to kind of get out of my little bubble, it's really helpful. And it has really allowed me to understand what I need and reflect and be like, okay, what do I have to do? So I have done a lot of planning for the year, right? I sat down and I planned. I'm like, okay, what do I need to do for the year? What do I want to achieve this year? What things do I want to complete? What things do I want to get rid of? What do I want to stop doing? All that. And it has helped me so much because I realize when I'm overwhelmed with what I need to do, I get stagnant. So what helps me is to organize, right? Create a plan, get everything out of my head because I'm living in my head in my survival mode, out on paper. So I will first think about, okay, well, what do I want to feel like this year, right? What do I want to do? What do I want to accomplish? I want I wanted to move into a new apartment that had better amenities offered, and I found that apartment. And now it's like, okay, budgeting. What do I need to get rid of? What do I got to stop paying? What do I got to start paying for? And I reorganized my budget. And I'm like, okay, cool. Budget's done. I was like, well, I want to save and I want to build my credit and I want to invest. So, what does that look like? Boom. I started breaking that down. And then I wanted to expand my brand and grow it into something that's more sustainable. So I sat there and decided what do I need to do now and what can contribute to my well-being now as well. Dancing, doing my body positivity dance workshops again. Yes, that was a success in California. How can I bring that to Charlotte? That will only help build my brand and allow me to be a part of a community in Charlotte, and also it'll contribute to my mental and physical well-being again and my emotional well-being. So I started planning out that and what did I wanted to do. So I'm doing a soft launch for 2 classes in February, and I'm really, really excited about that. I'll let you guys know more about that next month. Um, but yeah, so essentially, I started just brainstorming and organizing and developing what it is I want to do. Who do I want to be this year? You know, the same Mila, right? I'm going to be Mila all day, every day, but what do I want to do to improve Mila? What do I want to do to release that's holding me back? What more do I have to push? There's a lot of things that I don't allow myself to do out of what? Fear of the unknown, or fear of being rejected, or fear of not maintaining it, right? So I had to sit and I had to organize, and I'm still doing that. I decided to finalize my itinerary for my birthday in July, and I'm like, okay, cool. This is what I'm going to do, and I'm sent it to a few people, and I'm like, okay, this is what's going to happen, and I have to budget that too. So it's just getting more intentional, being more organized, and understanding that like this is what helps me. This is what gets me motivated and gets me feeling more ambitious to tackle and go after my goals and my dreams. However, right, there are times where I'm overly ambitious and I'm not organized and I'm trying to rush and live in the future, not present, but living in the future, to where I become burnt out. So I'm trying to lead more of my life and my intention in the present moment, and also organizing and slowing down, paying attention to the details. And that has what January has been about, is slowing down, doing small beginnings, right? Letting go, being present, and just showing up as you are each day, every day, contributing to the bigger picture. I'm always someone who's just on the go, on the go, on the go. Let's get this done. Let's do this. Let's do that. And coming from big city life, that's how it is. You just keep going. There's no time for rest. There's no time for stopping. There's no time for breaks. And if there is a break, it's only 2 seconds and you have to get right back up. And no, that is not what I'm doing anymore. So slowing down has really allowed me to just really pay attention and hear myself again, right? Sometimes when we are rushing, we tend to miss the intuition that's speaking, the wisdom that is telling us what we need and want to do. And sometimes we are too stubborn. Sometimes we are too ambitious and we're like, hey, I'm not going to do that. And we're impatient. There we go. Another one, impatient. And we want that instant gratification to really hit at that moment. And that goes perfectly with my relationship with social media, right? Social media this month has been very much, I've pulled away a lot. I've been on there posting the things that I need to know, but I haven't been highly interactive on social media. And I don't scroll, I don't view stories. I don't want anybody to believe that it's a personal thing. It's just I get overwhelmed sometimes. There's a lot to take in. I think I'm following 3,000 people, and just imagine so much, like so much that you're taking in. And so I noticed myself pulling back after like the first week of January, just like, okay, let me just hone in. There's a lot of events happening. There's a lot of people doing things. And it's like, for me, I am someone who wants to support and be there all the time, every time, any chance I get. I love to be included. I love to be involved. I love to be a part of anything and everything that I can. And social media gives you that instant access, right? So going back to just being present and showing up on social media. What I'm learning about social media with presence versus performance, um, I feel like I used to perform a lot on social media where it's like, oh, I'm doing this or I'm doing that. Like, look what I'm doing. Oh, look what I cooked or this and that. Like, I felt like I was very performative, right? And I genuinely in those moments was like I was proud, like, hey, I'm so proud of doing this. Or look at what I did. Like, and I used to use social media as my like I used to use social media as my diary, my online diary. And I was very proud a lot of the times. I felt like sometimes that's what allowed me to be seen because can be very introverted and I won't be out everywhere and you won't see me. Um that it was my way of like saying, hey guys, I'm alive. Hey guys, I'm here. Or, to stay connected with other people. And so looking back at it now, I was like, yo, like I feel like that was a lot of performing. Like I don't need that anymore. Right now it's more about, hey, this is what I'm doing. Check out my workshop, or I see something that I like and I'm just like, you know what, that resonates with me. Let me share that. Let me post that. Um and sometimes, I'll post an actual post or a reel here and there, but the intention is always about what I'm going through, and it's just an update, and sometimes I feel like I don't want to be on social media, but I also know social media is a must for you to be about your business and reach different audiences. And sometimes I don't really care about social media. Sometimes I don't think social media is real. Scratch that. Social media is real because depending on how you orchestrate or create your profile and how you go about things, it could be an art. It can be an art. I don't want to diss social media and say, no, social media is trash. It's not. um, like I said, and I used to use it as like my way of just showing up, giving myself a voice and allowing myself to be seen. And it's vulnerable, right? I like commend everybody who goes on lives and um who can show their face on to the world. Like it's very scary. And going back to performance and presence, I have been following a lot more people who are being present and showing up instead of performing. And I have reorchestrated how I use my social media, and it's made a huge difference. Honestly, it's made a huge difference as well because I'm not glued to my phone. I'm not doom scrolling and all these things. I have an intent and a purpose of going on social media, and it feels good. It feels good. Um, Next, because I do have notes that I kind of want to still keep on track because I tend to, do all the things. But um, I want to talk about letting go, heaviness, and presence. I talked about it a little bit, but um, I wrote a few questions down and I haven't found the answers yet. So I'm just going to read them and you guys will figure out the answers with me as well. And if you have your own answers, feel free to write those down. Take a moment and just really reflect with me if you can. One of the questions I wrote was, what did it mean for me to let myself be heavy without rushing out of it? So, what that meant for me was sitting on the couch and allowing myself to lay there and not move and not have to do anything, right? I didn't have to do anything. So, allowing myself to be in the thick of those emotions. A good example, it wasn't the new year yet, but it was leading to it. My brother's 30th birthday, and I was just so heavy. I was so heavy that whole week. And I didn't try to be okay. I didn't try to be like, let's celebrate my brother's 30th birthday. Yes, like let's just make it a good thing. No, I allowed myself to be heavy. I allowed myself to be upset. I allowed myself to be sad. Like, I even cried on New Year's. I was disconnected. I was dissociating from the friends that were at the New Year's Eve party. Like, it was a lot, and I allowed it to be a lot. And so I allowed myself to be in that truth. And with that, I was able to process, like, yo, this sucks. This hurts. Because I hadn't felt like that since my brother passed. And it felt similar to that. And I hadn't felt like that again. And so to feel that grief and that loss and recognizing that it was still there, I felt all of it. And I didn't allow myself to get out of it. I didn't allow myself to rush and be like, you know what, I need to feel better. I did not. I was heavy and I was communicating. I need connection, or I'm sad, I'm upset, I'm angry, I'm not okay. And those who checked in on me, I appreciate you so much. But I still pushed through. I still showed up for the podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am going to commit to goals and stuff like that. But yeah, so what it meant for me to just be in the heaviness was to just feel. I have to feel it. So yeah. The next question I wrote was, how did I stay present even when things felt dense? Oh, I reached out to friends. I called people. I connected with people back home in Cali. I started taking dance classes again. Like I said, I needed to, so I started doing that. Um, when I could, I started, going to different events and socializing, meeting new people. That was another one. Um, that's how I stayed present. That's what helped me. Watching TV. I For a while I stopped watching TV a lot. Like, I would only allow myself to watch TV for like an hour or two throughout the day, or sometimes I wouldn't even watch it at all. I used to be very strict where I didn't have any screen or TV time the first 3 hours of the day and the last 3 hours of the day. So I allowed myself to just watch whatever it is I want, just mindless TV, so that I can get out of my head and just be present in the moment, allow myself to just be. That is one way I stayed present. The next question is, what would I tell someone who feels pressure to start strong? I would tell someone who feels pressure to start strong to sit down and reflect on, what does starting strong look like? And if you did anything but that, would that make you weak? Because if you think about it, what is strong, right? What is pressure? Like, because starting strong doesn't always mean you're going to win. Being the quickest one doesn't mean you're going to finish first. There's a lot of things that we are perceived to believe in society that we've also been taught growing up. And, we called vulnerability and emotions weak, when really those people are very strong. They just reach the capacity of, like, hey, I'm not doing this no more, So really just sit back, think about why you feel that pressure to need to start strong. Why can't you start low? Why can't you start small? Why can't you just start? Yeah, I think that's what I would tell somebody. Yeah, I mean, we all have to think about, what do we want to do? How do we want to get there? And what is it going to take to get there? And yes, being disciplined and putting in the work is very important. We can't just be thinking about our hopes, dreams, and goals, and then hoping that it'll be done. No, we got to put in the work, right? We got to be disciplined. But we also have to understand what discipline looks like in our body, right? Because we all don't have the same momentum. We all don't have the same capacity and thought process. We all didn't grow up the same way. We all don't have the same access and resources to everybody else. Like, we have to be realistic, right? At least let's start by being realistic and understanding, okay, what is it that I need? What do I need to do? And how can I do that and keep this sustainable? That's what's important. And sometimes it is starting slow. Sometimes some people who are moving so fast, they need to slow down. And sometimes those who start slow and stay starting slow need to speed up a little bit, right? And it's all about having that balance, that middle ground. There's nothing wrong with starting fast, there's nothing wrong with starting slow. But as long as you have that momentum to continue to build that habit of this is what I need, this is what I need to do, all the things. So, what I decided to do to get my year started was to read two new books. Um, I was on a budget, and so I only bought one of them right now, and I think I chose the right one. The other one I will still invest in, but I am telling myself to finish the book first, and then my treat is to buy another one. So the book that I decided to purchase for the first season of the year is The Creative Habit: Learn It and Use It for Life by Twyla Tharp. And I got this because um, she's a dancer. She's a choreographer, she's a teacher, all the things, and successful at as that. But I wanted to learn what is keeping me from being my most highest and ambitious self, and what do I need to do in order to sustain the brand, the business, my sanity, all in one. And so I searched up online the best books to read to become the best entrepreneur or a creative, each what a creative entrepreneur needs to know and do in order to succeed in America, right? So this was one of many that was listed, but this one here really like I gravitated towards it, and so I looked up my local Barnes and Noble and found it. But I encourage y'all to get a book that will help you gain the skills that you need to have or need to improve on. Because that's what I did. I really want to know how this first month of the year started off um, in your journey was, and if there's any takeaways or if there's anything that you want to let me know. I would love to hear it. So please comment below. If you're listening on Spotify, I appreciate it. Email me soulfullyme by Mila@gmail.com and let me know your thoughts, and I can share it on one of the next episodes if you allow me to, or I can share it as a post on social media. But I would love to hear how January is going for you guys and how the new year is for you. Until then, I will see you next week in February, and we're going to have a great time because it's the month of love, they say. So continue to show up for yourself, continue to love on yourself, continue to listen to yourself, and trust it. Y'all have a good one. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.